one of the ways that these groups and the crowds would form was through social media. And we quickly learned that you had to follow Twitter or you had to follow Facebook to find when the next group was going to be coming in and kind of taking over the Capitol. And I remember one night in particular, in early March, when there was a huge force that was coming up of people that were coming up State Street. And again, any of you who've been to Madison know that the Capitol is on a hill, and about 2.5 miles down State Street is the campus of the University of Wisconsin-Madison. And you can see all the way down there. And that particular evening in early March, we saw a force of students coming up State Street. And we knew something was going to go bad. And we had gotten to the point where our regular hours in the state capitol, we open in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, we close at 6 o'clock at night. And so we had closed the doors and we had officers posted at the doors, but there were some individuals, some protesters that were still in the Capitol. Well, through the use of that social media, they learned who was going to be where, and some of those protesters rushed, opened the doors, and started to allow those groups to come in. I happened to be outside the Capitol at that time because I was talking with the police inside and telling them what was kind of going on. I was by no means the source of the information because we had a very good source of information from officers that were outside the Capitol. But I was informing them what was going on because the group was building, and I thought that we were about to lose control. And I talked to some of the officers inside, and they said, I think we've got the doors closed, I think we're in good shape. Until some of the ground floor windows from the legislators, the Democratic legislators, started to open up. And I happened to stand out one in particular. And as we watched, it was very much like sand going through an hourglass. The people were just funneling in. And I called the officers inside, and I said, I know you have the doors secured, but you're about to lose the wings because people are coming in. They said, yes, we see them trickling in now. We're doing what we can. So I called a few minutes later because they were still coming in a few windows. And they informed me that they had lost control of the ground floor and had fallen back to the first floor of the Capitol. And they continued to funnel in. And I said, well, if you lost control of the ground floor, then all the doors are going to be open. They said, yeah, we realize that, Mr. Secretary. We really need to go now. Okay. And so it's fun to be able to laugh about this now. And so a few minutes later, they called back and said, we have lost control of the first floor and are falling back to the second floor. I knew that the third floor was where we had our internal command center. And I said, you can't give up the third floor. That's where the command center is. They said, we understand that, Mr. Secretary. We really need to go now. Long story short, we did not lose control of the third floor, but those are the types of things that we were dealing with all the time, and it was undoubtedly one of those particularly low points. There was also some